This is Amber with Capital Chaos TV. I am at Vans Warped Tour, and I am sitting with AJ from Fire from the Gods. Very excited to talk with him, find out what's been going on in the band's world, personal life, and just get his opinions on some things. So first of all, let me just check in with you and tell me, how are you feeling today? Because now we're towards the end.
Liberating, but at the same time, I mean, I'm exhausted. And again, it's just a bittersweet thing. I mean, Warped Tour has been incredible. The way we've been treated has been great. The way the response to the record, the way the response to the band, everything has been awesome. And we've grown exponentially just within these last 6 or 7 weeks or so. We've grown and exponentially. Again, you know, there's been a lot of traction and a lot of content that's come forward that's really helped the band. But, you know, I want to go home too. You know, I'm tired.
So where's home?
Home for me now and the rest of the band is Texas. I live in Austin. 4 out of 5 of us live in Austin. 1 lives in Houston.
Okay. All right. So after Warped Tour, what are you guys going to be doing?
We're going to Disneyland, baby. No, we're actually going home for about 2.5, 3 weeks, and then we're hitting the road with POD.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Alien Ant Farm and Power Flow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about hooking up with Jonathan Korn from Davis. You guys worked together and produced The Voiceless, which is your most recent video, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Jonathan Davis, man, is an incredible individual. I mean, he's been in Korn and for about 23 years, maybe, almost. And just the way, the music that they've constantly produced. I mean, nothing against anyone on this tour, but even their new record now, I think is just better than 10,000 times better than anything that the newer bands are putting out. And the newer bands are great. I mean, there's some awesome like new bands that compete, you know, like Siler and us, and obviously, and the I Prevails of the world. But Korn is still holding the test of time. But just a little bit about the recording experience with JD was, he was really accommodating for the band. He opened up his doors at the studio, which really isn't an open studio for recording bands anyway. I mean, they really just kind of track their Korn stuff there, and I think he has a few other projects on his label, the Devil Records, I think it's called. He has like some 1 or 2 bands from like Europe, which are like electronic like projects, and he might have done some stuff there, but mainly they only do Korn stuff. So we were like the first band to come in from like the scene and have a real session for 4.5, almost 5 days, and it was awesome, man. He was very cool. His family was there, his kids were there, we hung out with his family, we sat down. One day our guitar player kind of taps me on the shoulder and he's like, yo, we really sitting here watching the Super Bowl with Jonathan Davis? And I'm like, surreal, right? Yeah, we kind of are, you know, and he's just sitting there and, you know, we're watching the halftime show, and it was just all cool. It was a very, very cool, smooth process, and we were really happy with what we were able to do. And we think that we just didn't have enough time. We were going to do 3 songs, and we ended up doing 2, which we still, like, down to the last minute, because the engineer, Bud, who's worked with Korn on their last 5 records, he had to go to Chicago to work with Rise Against.
Okay.
So, like, down to the last minute where he just had to, like, leave and get to LA to get his flight. We worked all the way to the last second. It was awesome. You know, I could go on about how cool that dude is, but, you know, people know how cool JD is.
Korn is one of my favorite bands of all time. He also writes from a very personal place. I know that your music also comes from personal experience. If you just want to share with our fans who haven't heard, what are they going to hear in the lyrics from you?
Narrative is an underdog story. You know, it's about achieving against adversity and fighting adversity to achieve, and not letting your situation that you might be in currently or a situation you might have been in the past define who you are going forward. And that's a lot of where I write from, because I've been at the bottom of the barrel. I know how it feels to be at the bottom of a bottle, to be at the end of your rope, and really have to kind of dig deep to find that extra step to help you move forward, to help you actually win in the situation. Because, you know, like with Chester recently, you know, he's a phenomenal individual that was subdued by his demons, and, you know, in the end he gave up, and so, you know, but not giving up. And I'm not saying he was weak or anything of that regard, or talking down on what happened, but he gave up and he gave into his demons, and now he's gone. And, you know, I really just want to impart that sort of enriching people's soul and enriching their outlook on a situation, because things are tough no matter what. And you can have all the money in the world, you know, he's in one of the best rock bands in the world, he's doing what I want to do, what everyone wants to do. They want to be a successful person. People want to be happy in life, and they see that as the pinnacle of success. And they see his situation and they say, how could someone in that situation, how could Chris Cornell in the situation he is, you know, with the money, with the security, the art, you know, the amount of influence they have on people, why would they give up, and why would they commit suicide? But it doesn't matter. People are struggling at every station they are in life, at every social higher part of the socioeconomic scale. You know, you can be poor and be depressed, and you can be rich and be depressed, and you can be poor and commit suicide. You can be rich and commit suicide. So narrative is really just about not letting your situation and not letting your demons win.
I love that. I feel that watching your music is very empowering. You leave feeling like you can take things on. So even you, as somebody who's reached this peak and you do have success, I'm going to assume you still have stresses in your day-to-day life.
Of course, everyone does. I mean, you know, like they say, more money, more problems. But, you know, in our case, it's more work, more problems. You know what I'm saying? Because we still have to work so hard, and in this environment, this current economic environment, and this current the state of the music industry. You know, artists have to work not 2 times as hard, not 3 times as hard, not even 4 times as hard. We've got to work 10 to 15 times as hard as anyone has worked in this business ever, to just gain an inch of ground against the competition, or against the other things that you can do in life. I mean, and especially in the United States of America. I mean, we, you know, and bands like Silverstein and the bands from, you know, other parts of the world, like, you know, Australia and Brazil and Mexico, and, you know, I say Silverstein because they're from Canada, and there's other, you know, bands from Canada here. You know, these governments provide, I'm not saying they give them homes and they're giving riches out, but they provide sort of a stipend to help their bands and to cultivate the arts within their country. Whereas Fire from the Gods, an American band, we don't have that avenue. It really is. If you're gonna sell cars, you gotta pick yourself up by the bootstrap. You're gonna sell music, you gotta pick yourself up by your bootstrap. That's just a mantra, and that's the way we do things in America. So it's a lot harder for an American artist to, you know, that was once independent, even with our label situation, to succeed and to thrive. So, you know, again, that's another reason we put that into our music as well, you know, because we are constantly fighting against the odds.
Yes, you are. And with your energy and with your lyrics, people are going to listen. They are listening now, and it's coming across beautifully. So please keep doing it.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Deep.